just finished watching Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the Time Warp again, and it was interesting. The original Rocky Horror was actually on TV not that long ago, and of course I only caught part of it. So an entire basis of the movie, I get slightly lost after Janet and Rocky go at it. So, however, on the upside of things, this reboot in a sense was not terrible. It took me a while, the first, 15 or so minutes in, to remind myself that this is not the original and that this is everyone else's interpretation of that character. Do not base it off of the original, do not base it off of their voices and their acting skills. And knowing that, at least halfway through till the end, it made it better, I guess, in a sense. Laverne Cox is actually pretty amazing. You can kind of tell that she took some of Tim Curry's movements in the fact of being this transsexual from Transylvania, like the movements, the dancing, the walking around, the body flirting, I guess, in the sense. Kind of taking that and making it her own. And the voice, however, I'm not sure I could get behind. Yes, I know it's obviously different. Like I said, I had to remind myself of that. It's different, but it wasn't terrible. Not terrible. Not at all. Columbia, on the other hand, I really couldn't get behind. Her character in general, even in the original, is kind of obnoxious is not the word I really want, but I know that's that character, so I couldn't get behind her even in this one. Riff Raff, the person who plays Riff Raff, got that down spot. I think it has something to do with the kind of Igor-like movements and voice. And then Magenta, her hair bugged me throughout the whole thing, mostly because, again, basing it off of the original, although Christina Milian's actually pretty, good. So, let's see what else. Oh, so when it first began, I couldn't get out of my brain that the guy playing Brad was not Brendan Urie from Panic at the Disco. He has the same hair, the same face structure, and I had to keep reminding myself, this is not Brendan Urie, this is not Brendan Urie. However, I'm pretty positive if it was Brendan Urie, the ratings would probably go up like a lot. He can play probably, I've never seen him act, so I don't know, but I'm sure he could play very awkward as Brad is. But it works knowing that he's not a well-known, in a sense. So, I don't know. I kind of liked this. I was talking to someone about it, I forget who, and they're like, oh, it's another live version. I'm like, no, it's not a live version. And you can kind of tell by how the scenes are. I've seen a couple scenes from the different live musicals on TV, and it's all one shot. It's all continuously one shot. This, on the other hand, you have the camera not really moving. You have the camera pretty stationary, kind of zooming out, zooming in, and panning, and that's it. You don't see the camera running with the character. So I like that it wasn't made into a live show, that it actually was indeed a remake of Rocky Horror. Another thing I have to mention, and I know television can't really do this all the time, or at all, commercials killed me. I started really getting into it, and the commercial broke it. The commercial broke the flow. Okay, it's on demand. Fast forward through the commercials. Okay, stop, play. Back in the mode. And again, it threw me off, and I wasn't happy about it. But again, can't really do anything about it. The best I could do was rewatch it as it's a movie. And I don't know that I will. Rocky Horror is not my favorite, but it is definitely entertaining. If you have no basis of Rocky Horror, let me put it that way. If you have no basis of Rocky Horror, you should go see this. It gives all of it kind of a sense. Everything does actually flow from start to finish, minus one scene that I noticed from the original. The only scene that I noticed that wasn't the same is the one where Magenta, or is it Columbia? one of the two girls pushes Brett and Janet into the separate rooms that says, here, spend the night or whatever. That's the only part that was different from the remake to the original that I noticed. Again, not a diehard fan, but something that I did notice seeing the original not that long ago to the remake now. The music is still very exciting. You get a little bit of if you go see Rocky Horror as a live production, apparently there's this thing that the audience really gets into, and in this version of this remake of Rocky Horror, you have an audience. So not us, unless you count us, but you have the audience in the show watching it on the screen and doing their thing. So they did the newspaper thing, and I'm assuming that's a thing. The newspaper thing, they did the lighting thing, the lighter thing, candle thing, whatever. They responded to the characters, even though the characters clearly can't hear them. So you kind of had that. I have no basis of seeing this live, so I'm actually in the dark with that one on how well that actually happened. But as a remake to the original, I would say it's not the original. So that's it. I mean, generally speaking, with originals to remakes, originals are better. Remakes show a different side of things, which is a good thing in terms of this. It definitely made it a little bit more modernized in the fact of you had you had the big names. Not that I'm saying Laverne Cox is a big name, but you had Laverne Cox, you had Adam Lambert, Victoria Justice. Not that they, all these guys made a big role. Adam Lambert really didn't. He played Eddie, so that kind of tells you in terms of where his storyline went. But I don't know. It felt a little bit more modernized, a little bit, just probably because of the day and age that we're in. And I mean, it really wasn't. You didn't have any indication that it was modern. It still wasn't modern because he said telephone, not cell phone, which would be interesting if they did a twist on it and made it modernized, like 100%, like today's day and age, not like. Anyway, off topic. Regardless, go see it. Not terrible. Not the original. Music's always good. So, there you go.